Wait, volumes, blah, 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 talking. Hey, we're back. I'm not Adrian. Is that good or am I peaking?
You're not Adrian?
That's what I'm starting with. Because people still don't know. Are we rolling? Hi, I'm back. It's me. I'm not Adrian. Today we're talking about 3 of the biggest shonen for fall anime 2020. Yashahime, Burn the Witch, Jujutsu Kaisen, in that order. There's gonna be spoilers for the first 3 episodes of each of them, so if you care about that sort of thing, make sure to pause this video, go and watch them, and then come back, all right? Otherwise, we're gonna start. Some of y'all might be like, Y.Chang, you're looking worse for the wear. You're not wrong. I've definitely aged like 10 years in the last 10 months. That's okay, because I'm alive, and if we do nothing else by the end of all of this craziness while the world's on fire, but survive, then that's great. Aging is a privilege. There's nothing wrong with that, so we shouldn't take our lives for granted.
That was like way deeper than I expected.
So, first show, Yashahime, or Who Did Sesshomaru It takes place years after the events of Inuyasha. Toa gets separated in the forest from her sister Setsuna. By the way, they're both Sesshomaru's kids. Still unclear on who the mother is. And she ends up getting stranded in the modern era, where she meets Kagome's brother Sota and is adopted into the Higurashi family. 10 years later, another time rift opens and the sisters are reunited, but Setsuna's lost all of her memories. Together with Motoha, who is Kagome and Inuyasha's daughter, they go on an adventure to reclaim their past. I think the OP is a banger. Wait, have you? I feel like I should play a little bit of it.
Yeah, I have not heard the opening theme song.
It's so cool. It's a bop, it's good. The ED is pretty nice too. I was watching it with a Swedish producer friend of mine, and Theo, if you're watching, said that it kind of makes him feel like it's a Japanese Billie Eilish track. I don't know, I could kind of see that if you think like indie pop with like a soft vibe is something that Billie Eilish like owns. The creatures were really cool. I never really watched the original series, so all I know about it is like, I want to change the world. Maybe to people who are familiar with Inuyasha, this was just like, oh, it's some old friends, but there was like a cool hoot hoot owl creature, the demon cat thing. There's like a big centipede with a nice Brazilian blowout, and she's like hunting the pearls. She was really fun to watch too. And then Shippo, I remember. Shippo was the subject of some of the weirder fan fictions that I saw when I was younger.
So wait, I have a question. Did you experience
What?
Inuyasha vicariously through fanfic?
I mean, I think so. But how else do people experience anime these days? All of the vocal performances are great. They chose such excellent seiyuu for all 3 of them. Toa is giving us Uranus vibes from Sailor Moon. She refuses to be traditionally feminine. That's something refreshing for any kind of series. I really like that Motoha has very much her father's vibe, and she even has that same kind of cadence. Setsuna is pretty cool. She definitely seems like the more helpless of the sisters, but then when she's grown up, she's become very cold and very stoic, probably because her dreams got eaten. I guess that's what'll happen to you. You just become cynical when you get older.
You just become the dad.
You're right. No, this show is about how you can't escape becoming your father. One of the things that I thought were not so cool was the first episode. I was talking to a really good friend of mine, Sapphire, who, if you're not familiar, you should go check out her channel. She sings a lot of Persona covers. So if you like Persona, check out my friend Sapphire. But she was talking about how the first episode was not very good, and I can kind of understand why. The first episode is really to kind of wrap up things from where the original show left off. I mean, on some level, it was cool to be like, oh, like, look at all these cool characters that I'm vaguely familiar with. But then, I don't know, every time Inuyasha opened his mouth and he was just very angry and very like, I'm a dog and I'm very grouchy. I was just like, okay, like, I don't care. The other thing that I really didn't like about this show is that Mei fucking sucks.
Just trying to find who this character is.
She's the little bitch baby. Like, she's so stupid. She was the worst part of episode 3. And I know she's a child, but I don't give a f.
I could watch kids fall off bikes all day. I don't give a shit about your kid.
I'm paraphrasing because my writing is shitty. You're my big sister, I don't want you to fight. Because if you keep fighting, then the fighting will never end. Because I guess Toa has this habit of fighting bullies and like local delinquents who are always coming after her. And what's worse is later when the centipede demon lady come by and the fighting really starts, they're like, okay, Higurashi family, like you take me and you guys go someplace safe. She has to poke her head out and be like, or whatever she says. And then the centipede lady goes for her, and it's just like, there's just no end to your annoyance in this episode. And what's also stupid too is Setsuna like does something really cool later where she actually finishes off the centipede demon lady. That's when Mei decides like, oh, Setsuna, you're really cool. So you condone violence when it's coming from this random bitch who you don't know, but when it's your own like adopted sister that you grew up with, it's unacceptable. Which is it, Mei? Which is it? So she sucked.
I'm like dying behind my mask.
So, is Yashahime wow, that's so bad. Should you watch Yashahime, Half Demon Princess? Yeah, I think so. I would say if you're gonna watch it, make sure you watch the first 2 episodes, because I think the second episode is where the action actually starts. I really don't know why they started with the first episode that way. Maybe it was to honor fans who missed the old characters, but I don't know how effective that was. Burn the Witch. It takes place in the same universe as Tite Kubo's Bleach, which I did not watch. I feel like a lot of people when it comes to shonen are like, oh, you have to keep watching until it gets good. But I really don't know anyone who watched Bleach and doesn't have regrets about it, which is basically my way of saying you can watch this without watching Bleach. Noelle and Nini work for the Western branch of the Soul Society, located in Reverse London, which is kind of like this hidden Harry Potter style London that you only get to see if you have cool powers and you know, dragons are attracted to you or you're something special, basically. I really love that Nini is this celebrity idol girl who also happens to have magical powers in that beginning where she's being chased by paparazzi and she does that cool flash thing. I really liked that moment. I love Noelle. She's so cool and calm and collected without just being completely monotone. She's definitely got like her dry, sarcastic wit. Of the two, she is the one who really takes care of things. Bruno, so cool, and I think canonically at this point, according to Twitter anyway, he's Sans Undertale, but in anime form. The dragons were so cool. They fly on them, and then there's other dragons that, you know, look like deer. There's another dragon, Osushi, who's like, you know, the sort of Pomeranian looking puppy thing. I thought that the main dragon overlords were really cool, or at least the concept of them, because it's definitely teasing out a longer arc that would be very exciting to watch. And it was really fun to see how Ellie evolved into Cinderella and how once she grew up, she just didn't give any shits and she was ready to blow up everything. You can tell that they really took their time with each image because there's so much flying in and out of London between skyscrapers and through cobblestone streets. And there's so much magic action happening and everything is so gorgeous. It really is a treat. Even if you're someone who doesn't watch anime at all, or if you have friends who don't watch anime, I would recommend having them see this. I didn't like the fact that this is actually not a series. It's a movie that came out last month, and Crunchyroll uploaded it as 3 episodes, which is cool, it's understandable. There's a few different shows or media properties doing this kind of thing where if they know it's going to be really animation intensive, they produce it as a theatrical release and then chop up the film into segments. But fortunately, there is another season confirmed. My friend said that if there were more episodes available right now, that it would be anime of the year. I don't know if I would agree with that, but it would certainly be a contender. So should you watch Burn the Witch? Yes. Absolutely. Jujutsu Kaisen, Jujutsu Kaisen. Every time it comes to that part in the song, that's what the lyric is, even though I know it's Kimi wo Harate or like whatever it is. The next time you watch this show, sing that. Yuji Itadori is kind of a Gary Stu. I mean, a naturally gifted athlete who lives in Sendai with his grandfather. But instead of joining the track club, he joins the occult club, which lets him get out of school by 5 p.m. to visit his grandfather in the hospital. Which is really nice, because like if I was in high school and I had like a dying relative in the hospital, like I wouldn't do that. Enter Sasuke, I mean Megumi, who is investigating a talisman, which happens to be in the form of a dead finger, at the school, which is attracting dangerous curses. Unable to defeat them, he swallows the finger to gain the power of Sukuna, who's like this edgy figure from the past who I guess was really threatening. Somehow he's able to keep Sukuna from taking control, but technically this means he needs to be executed. So they bring him to the Jujutsu Technical School in Tokyo, where they make a proposition. They'll postpone his execution if he helps them find all the cursed fingers of Sukuna, so they can destroy him once and for all, and then they'll execute him. Which is a pretty cool premise. The OP, of course. Wait, let me get to the chorus. Jujutsu Kaisen! Eve is a fantastic singer. He has a great song called How to Eat Life. He's just gonna continue being bigger and bigger. I can't think of which titles they are, but like his songs are gonna be on so many different soundtracks this year, so keep an eye out for Eve. This is probably OP of the year, just in terms of the music and the animation alone. Adrian's giving me a look like I might be wrong. I'm willing to be challenged.
I don't know. I think God of High School had a pretty sick OP.
Oh, you're right.
And that was Mappa too.
Yeah.
Yo, Mappa's been killing it.
They're gonna continue to kill it.
This is like the most I've ever seen them produce.
Yeah,
In a year.
yeah, they're going big budget. The ED,
So good.
so good. The ED is honestly probably more of a bop than the opening.
And I love the way they animated it too. It's all so smooth.
It's all
They look so, like,
dancing.
chill.
It's very like modern. Not that TikTok invented dancing, but like it's got that vibe and it's got that like take on me like sketch vibe. I love it. What else did I love? I loved the big demon inside of him that will pop out at inopportune times and is just goading him. It reminded me of Migi from Parasite. The action, of course. This is a shonen lover's dream in terms of action. And of course, best girl, Nobara. She's so funny. The instant that you see her coming off of the train into Tokyo, going to that guy who's scouting model talent, and then she's like, hey, what do you think about me? She's just so much fun. What can I say? I love my girls who don't take who don't need to be rescued, but I feel like I have to backtrack because that's actually one of the things that I don't find so cool, that they did end up rescuing her, because in episode 3, she's got that demon upstairs with the child. I feel like there's a theme going on here. There's just like children that need to be rescued in some of these shows. The other theme that I've noticed in this show is there's like weird demons that sound like the content aware scale. There's a lot of that. I don't think it makes sense to introduce this really cool character who doesn't take no shit and doesn't afraid of anything, and then she quickly is just like, oh, I'm gonna die now. It would have been nice to see Saori, which on a narrative level, I understand why they would do that, but it was a little ham-fisted. She does end up killing the demon with this really cool voodoo magic, but I thought that was unnecessary. Let her shine, let her have her moment. Also, something that was not an issue for me, but might be an issue for some. It's kind of standard shonen bullshit, because you have like your Naruto type, and then you have your like Sasuke type who's like more of an edgelord, and you definitely have a Kakashi type. Like the protagonist is kind of lame too. He has one line. He was like, hey, I'm this guy. I like girls who look like Jennifer Lawrence. That's a weird thing to put in a show, like, I like white girls. Even before he swallows the finger, he's just gifted, I suppose, and can break world records. I didn't like that so much. But, you know, he's good at swallowing, so there's that. Because when he swallows the fingers, he just goes, oh, and I'm just like, oh, that's a talent. But outside of that, I think that the characters are really appealing, and judging by the OP and some of the PR announcements that I've seen online, there's just gonna be more interesting students and teachers and maybe more curses that we can encounter. So I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for that. The only other thing that I wanted to say is that Kakashi has nice lips. Take a close look at Kakashi. I don't care what his real name is. Take a look at Kakashi, and he's got like nice glossy lips.
I also like an anime character with some good lips.
Thank you, Kurt.
Josuke, his lips.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my gosh.
It's some inspiration, it is, because you know, I know some of you who watch our channel be walking around with crusty lips. Is it anime of the year? That's just something that AniTubers title their videos so that you'll click on them, which is why we're doing it. But that said, I do think that this is the show that people are gonna be talking about for the next half a decade. I get it. And will I keep watching? Yeah. Anime of the year? Maybe. I love that that's what we've called the video, and like that's what the answer is. Thank you so much to all of our patrons for supporting us since July. It honestly hasn't been easy. I know that collectively all of us have lost more sleep than ever, but it's been worth it. We have some special shout outs for Sugar Joe, Andrew M, Critical225, Astrolad, Kyle, and Eric Totora Patu. I hope I'm saying that right. Now I'm gonna answer a few questions. So we've got one from L from Death Note. What's everyone's favorite ice cream flavors? Coffee, Haagen-Dazs. Had that when I was 5 and it's the best for me. Jahan asks, if you drink, what's your favorite cocktail / drink? For me, it's gonna be whiskey, usually bourbon. I prefer it neat. I might take an ice cube once in a while. Color Cosplays asks, what's one anime you love that everyone else seems to hate? The Fox Kids version of Digimon, the movie. People think it's a hack dub. I think that it's a triumph of anime in the early 2000s and is the pinnacle of East meets West media.
Is that thinking good?
Yes! Blar asks, how are y'all doing? And I think that your username is probably the answer. So what did you think of these shows? Honestly, I like them and I think that you will too. So until next time, this is Y.Chang for Beyond the Bot, your neighborhood anime club. Stay safe and be easy.